welcome to today's seminar on coping skills for high-risk groups. I am Sana Syal and I am pleased to share insights for supporting individuals and communities vulnerable to substance use and mental health challenges. Our focus today is on identifying high-risk groups, exploring tailored coping strategies, and promoting positive behaviors through mentorship and community involvement. We'll also share success stories that highlight the power of resilience and recovery. Identifying high-risk groups for substance use. To effectively address substance use, we first need to understand which groups are most vulnerable and why. By identifying high-risk population, we can implement targeted intervention to reduce risk and support recovery. Addressing substance use is not just about treating addiction, but about understanding the factors that lead individuals to use substance in the first place. Youth and adolescents, a critical age group. Young people are particularly vulnerable to substance use due to their peer pressure, curiosity, and lack of awareness about long-term consequences. For example, in the UK, alcohol and recreational drug use among teenagers is often seen as a rite of passage or which can lead to dependency later in life. Peer influences studies shows that teenagers are more likely to experiment with substance when their friends do. Brain development. The adolescent's brain is still developing, making young people more susceptible to high-risk behaviors and addictions. Family environment. Lack of parental supervision and communication can increase vulnerability. Education and prevention. School-based interventions such as PSHE, which is personal, social, health, and economic curriculum in UK schools, have helped reduce experimentation rates. Individuals with trauma or mental health issues, trauma survivors such as those who have experienced abuse, violence, or loss, often turn to substance as a coping mechanism. Similarly, untreated mental health conditions like depression, anxiety can increase susceptibility to addiction. Trauma and PTSD. Individuals with adverse childhood experiences are more likely to develop substance use disorder, co-occurring disorders. Conditions with anxiety, depression, bipolar, or other coexist with addiction, creating a cycle that is difficult to break. Barriers to treatment. Many individuals do not seek help due to stigma or lack of access of mental health care that can lead to dependency later in life. Peer influence. Studies shows that teenagers are more likely to experiment with substances when their friends do. Brain development. The adolescent's brain is still developing, making young people more susceptible to risk-taking behaviors and addiction. Family environment, lack of parental supervision, and communication can increase vulnerability. Education and prevention. School-based interventions such as PSHE, personal, social, health, and economic curriculum in UK schools have helped reduce experimentation rates. Individuals with trauma or mental health issues. Trauma survivors, such as those who have experienced abuse, violence, or loss, often turn to substance as a coping mechanism. Similarly, untreated mental health conditions like as depression, anxiety can increase susceptibility to addiction. Trauma and PTSD. Individuals with adverse childhood experiences are more likely to develop substance use disorder. Co-occurring disorders. Conditions such as anxiety, depression, bipolar disorder can often coexist with addiction, creating a cycle that is difficult to break. Barriers to the treatment that comes. Many individuals do not seek help due to the stigma or lack of access to mental health care. Barriers to treatment. Many individuals do not seek help due to stigma or lack of access to mental health care. Cognitive behavioral therapy and trauma-informed care are effective helping this group recover. Marginalized communities and socioeconomic factors such as socioeconomic challenges, discrimination, limited access to resources make marginalized groups more vulnerable. For instance, community facing financial hardship may be at a higher risk of substance and use them as a cope to stress to cope with stress or isolation. Poverty and substance use. Financial stress and lack of employment opportunities can push individuals towards substance use as an escape. Ethnic disparities. Some minority groups, particularly Black and Asian individuals, face unique challenges such as systematic discrimination, which can contribute to substance use. Homelessness. Studies show that nearly 50% of homeless individuals in the UK struggle with drug or alcohol dependency. Intervention strategies. Now, community outreach program and employment support initiative can help break the cycle of addiction in marginalized population. What does the stats say? Understanding the scope of substance use in the UK, identifying those high-risk groups for substances use in the UK involve examining various demographic factors including age, ethnicity, gender. Recent studies provide insight into these patterns. Now, let's talk about the age groups. General population ages between 16 to 59. In the year ending March 2024, approximately 8.9%, which is 2.9 million people, reported using any drug in the past 12 years. Young adults, general population, ages 16 to 59 in the year ending March 2024, approximately 8.8%, around 2.9 million people reported using any drug in the past 12 months. Young adults, ages 16 to 24, this group exhibited a higher prevalence with 16.5, approximately 971,000 individuals reporting drug use in the same period. Black individuals, 7.5% reported at least one sign of drug dependency in the past year, compared to 3% of white British individuals. Notably, 11.5% of Black men reported sign of drug dependency, compared to 4% of white British men. Illicit drug use among women. Black women 9.7%, white British women 6.2%, and women from the white other group 6.9% were more likely to have used illicit compared to the Asian women, which is 0.4%. Treatment engagement. Adults between April 2024 to March 2023. Treatment engagement. Adults between April 2022 and March 2023, around 296,635 adults were in contact with drug and alcohol services, a slight increase from the previous year. Young people, during the same period, 12,418 individuals under 18 were in contact with alcohol and drug services, marking a 10% increase from the previous year. Tailored intervention. What can be done? These statistics highlight that young adults and certain ethnic groups, particularly Black individuals, are at the higher risk of substance use and dependency in the UK. Tailored interventions and support systems are essential to address the unique needs of this high-risk population in UK. Effective strategies to prevent and support. Now, school and community programs, expansion of PSHE education to include more in-depth substance use awareness and mental health support. Access to mental health services is necessary. Increased funding for mental health programs for support with co-occurring disorders, employment and housing support. Programs that assist individuals in securing stable housing and employment can reduce the risk of substance use. Culturally sensitive outreach, tailoring substance use prevention programs to be inclusive to different cultures living in UK with different backgrounds and different experiences based on their culture. Now, the whole conclusion of this discussion is that addressing substance use requires a multifaceted approach, from education and prevention to treatment and policy changes. By understanding the factors that put certain groups at risk, we can implement targeted intervention, create lasting change. Together, Communities, healthcare providers, and policymakers can build a more supportive and resilient society. Now, tailored coping strategies for managing stress, grief, and trauma. Each high risk group has a unique need when it comes to coping with stress and grief or trauma in their life. Let's explore effective tailored strategies that can empower individuals to navigate their challenges. What we will discuss in these situations that can help. The first one is stress management techniques. Stress, grief, and trauma impact people differently, but everyone can benefit from strategies to cope in a healthy way. By equipping individuals with effective techniques, we can help them manage emotions, build resilience, and prevent resilience on harmful coping mechanisms like substance use. Now, what are the stress management techniques? Mindfulness and relaxation. Deep breathing techniques, for example, box breathing, help regulate emotions and reduce anxiety. Guided meditation or progressive muscle relaxation promotes calmness in a human being. There can be grounding techniques such as the 4-5-4-3-2-1 sensory method, keeping individual present during overwhelming moments. Physical activity and movement. Exercise like running, dancing, yoga release endorphins, improving mood and reducing stress. Tai Chi and stretching routine encourage relaxation and mind body connection. Cognitive techniques. Cognitive reframing helps individuals replace negative thoughts with more constructive ones. Journaling. It allows an individual for emotional expression and pattern recognition in stress triggers. You can have healthy routine development as well. You can establish consistent sleep patterns to improve emotional regulation in your day-to-day life. Creating structured daily routines to reduce unpredictability and anxiety. Coping strategies for grief can also help emotional expression, and creative outlets are also necessary, such as art therapy, music, and poetry can be powerful tools to process emotions. Letter writing to lost loved ones helps individuals articulate the feeling and find closure in their life. Social support and connection. Talking to a friend, a family member, or a support group can provide comfort and understanding. Participating in community events combats the isolation and fosters healing. Symbolic or ritual healing. Lighting a candle, planting a tree, creating a memory box can honor lost loved ones. Participating faith-based rituals or prayers may provide spiritual support for those who find solace in religion. Trauma recovery techniques, therapeutic intervention such as eye movement, desensitization, and reprocessing, which is EMDR, helps reprocess traumatic memories. CBT provides tools to manage distressing thoughts. Somatic therapies like body awareness exercises help trauma survivors reconnect with their bodies. Self compassion and affirmation. Using self affirming statements like I am strong and capable helps rebuild confidence. Practicing self care by prioritizing rest, hydration, nutrition, and supports overall well being. Trauma informed support networks. Joining those trauma specific support groups fosters a community healing. Seeking mentors or peer support who understand that similar struggles provides a guidance and reassurance. By incorporating these strategies, individuals can better manage stress, grief, and trauma, leading to improved emotional well-being and resilience. Let me know if you like more details on specific approaches. Healthy outlets for grief. Encouraging activities that provide emotional release like journaling, creative arts, and music therapy. For example, art therapy can be a powerful tool for individuals struggling with to articulate their feelings. Sports and physical activities can also help regulate emotions by releasing endorphins, improving mood, and fostering social connection in the person who is dealing with these kinds of emotions. Trauma informed care. Support should be trauma informed, meaning recognizes the impact of past experiences on the current behavior. For instance, therapy modulates like EMDR and CBT, which is cognitive behavioral therapy, can be particularly effective for trauma survivors. Moreover, ensuring that healthcare providers are trained in trauma sensitive approaches can create safer environment for healing in a human being. Building resilience through community support, creating a support group that individuals can share their experiences without judgment fosters a sense of belonging. For example, community centers that host peer led discussions forums for stress management, faith based programs, and mentorship also provide a sense of purpose and connection. Schools and workplace integrates mental health initiative to promote collective resilience. Now, culturally appropriate coping strategies. Cultural backgrounds influence how individuals perceive and manage stress, grief, and trauma. For instance, in some cultures, traditional healing practices, meditation, and spiritual counseling play a significant role in coping mechanism. Acknowledging and integrating these approaches alongside conventional therapy can make intervention more effective and accessible, encouraging help seeking behavior. Stigma often prevents individuals from seeking support. Public awareness campaign can educate communities on the importance of mental health, making it easier for people to reach out to help without the fear of judgment, ensuring that resources such as hotlines and free counseling services are easily accessible and can encourage individuals to seek professional assistance. Now, digital and technology support. With advancement in digital mental health support, mobile apps, virtual therapy, online peer support groups offer additional coping tools. For example, mindfulness apps and guided meditation program can help individuals practice self-care daily. Online counseling services also provide accessible mental health support, particularly for those in remote or undeserved areas. By integrating these tailored coping mechanisms, individuals across different high risk groups can develop healthier ways to navigate stress, grief, and trauma, ultimately reducing the likelihood of turning to substance use as a coping mechanism. Now, encouraging positive behavior through mentorship and community. The involvement of these things are necessary. Mentorship and community involvement are powerful tools for encouraging positive behaviors and reducing the risk associated with the substance use. Let's discuss how these approaches can make a difference person going through these situations. Mentorship and community involvement have been shown to significantly encourage positive behaviors in the UK. Research highlights that their effectiveness across multiple domains. Mentorship program. Reduction in youth offending. A comprehensive analysis of 37 mentoring program evaluation revealed that 14.2% decrease in youth offending. Additionally, 8 evaluation indicated a 21.1% reduction in violent behavior among participants, behavioral and emotional improvements. Meta-analyses have demonstrated that mentoring typically reduce conduct problems, aggressions, and substance use. Improvement have also been observed in educational achievement, social competence, and emotional well-being with an average effect size of zero point 0.2 for behavioral and emotional outcomes. Community involvement. Enhanced mental well-being. Individuals residing in neighborhoods with higher levels of social cohesion experience lower rates of mental health problems, irrespective of the areas of socioeconomic status. Improved community well-being. Factors such as feeling safe, trust between people, and the quality of the environment have been identified as crucial for the well-being of communication in Great Britain. Positive health outcomes, community engagement, including participants in arts, nature, and leisure activities, has been positively associated with both psychological and physiological well-being. These statistics underscore the significant impact of mentorship and community involvement in fostering positive behaviors and enhancing the overall well-being in the UK. Now, what's the role of mentorship? Mentorship program pair at-risk individuals with positive role model who guide them toward healthier choices. For instance, a mentor might help a teenager develop academic goals to distract from the negative influences. In addition to academic guidance, mentors can provide emotional support, helping young people navigate personal challenges such as family conflicts or peer pressure or anything that comes along with it. Long-time mentorship relationships have been shown to improve self-esteem, reduce risky behaviors, and increase resilience in the people going through these situations. Now, community engagements and opportunities. Engaging in community activities like volunteering for supports or provides a sense of purpose, a connection. For example, youth clubs in the UK often use creative outlets like music or drama to channel energy in a positive direction. Participation in community projects such as environmental initiatives or charity drives helps young people develop a sense of responsibility and accomplishment. These activities promote teamwork, leadership skills, and social bonds that serve as a protective factor against the substance use. Celebrating small wins. Now, acknowledging achievements, no matter how small they are, reinforcing positive behaviors. For instance, recognizing a young person for attending a therapy session or participating in a community project can boost their confidence. Schools, community centers, and families can implement reward systems such as certificates, badges, or verbal praise to highlight the progress. Even setting up peer recognition programs where young people encourage and celebrate each other's success can create a culture of support and motivation. Partnership with schools and organizations. Collaboration with schools, faith based programs, and local charities can amplify these efforts. For example, schools can host mentorship workshops, while charities can provide resources and counseling services as well. Local businesses can also contribute by offering internship opportunities, skill building workshops, or career guidance programs. Faith based institutions often play a crucial role by providing a safe space for discussion, moral guidance, and social support networks, creating safe and inclusive spaces, ensuring that mentorship and community engagement opportunities are inclusive and welcoming. It is essential. This means creating environment where individuals from all backgrounds feel safe to express themselves without the fear of judgment. LGBTQ youth, individuals with disabilities, and those from marginalized communities should have access to tailored mentorship programs that cater to their unique needs, providing cultural competency, training, and mentorship and community for people who are going through this. Leveraging technology for wider impact. Digital mentorship program, online support groups, and virtual community events can extend the reach of these initiatives. Social media platforms can be used to promote positive role models, share success stories, and provide educational resources on substance abuse prevention. Mobile apps designed for mentorship and mental health support can help connect individuals with trained professionals and peer support networks, making mentorship more accessible to individuals. Long term community investments. Sustaining mentorship and community involvement program require ongoing investment and commitment. This includes securing funding for after school programs, training mentors, and continuously evaluating the effectiveness of these initiatives. Communities can advocate for policy change that prioritize youth development programs, ensuring that mentorship and community involvement remain key strategies in substance abuse prevention efforts. By fostering strong mentorship relations and encouraging community participations, we can create a supportive environment where individuals feel valued, empowered, and motivated to make positive choices in their life. Now, highlighting success stories to inspire others in their life. Success stories are powerful motivators. They show the recovery and resilience and possibility, even in the face of adversity. By sharing real life examples, we can inspire hope, encourage positive changes, and demonstrate the effectiveness of community support, mentorship, and rehabilitation programs. Now, let's talk about what are the things that help youth overcoming peer pressure, a story of academic redemption. Now, let's take an example. Youth overcoming peer pressure, a story of academic redemption. A 16-year-old boy from Manchester, once on the verge of dropping out of school due to substance use, found support through a mentorship program. Initially introduced to the drug through peer pressure, he struggled to stay engaged in school. However, with the guidance of a dedicated mentor, he was able to rebuild his confidence, improve his study habits, and focus on his future. Through consistent encouragement and structured intervention, he successfully completed his GCSEs and is now pursuing higher education in social work. His story highlights that how positive role model can redirect at-risk youth towards a brighter future. Now, the trauma survivors finding healing through creative outlets. A woman who experienced domestic abuse in their life turned to art therapy at a local community center as a means of processing her emotions. For years, she struggled with alcohol dependency as a coping mechanism for her trauma. Through the art therapy program, she gradually replaced her resilience on alcohol with a newly found passion for painting. Expressing her emotions through art helped her regain confidence and self worth. Today, she leads a support group for other survivors, showing how creative therapies can instrument in the healing process. Her story demonstrates the transformative power of self-expression in addiction recovery. How does how does the community help? The community transformation, a town's fighting against youth substance abuse. A small town in UK faced rising substance use among teenagers, prompting concern from parents and local authorities. In response to a coalition of schools, parents, and charities launched a youth leadership program designed to provide alternative activities and education on the dangers of substance use. Through these mentorship initiatives and extracurricular activities and peer support group, Community transformation. A town's fight against youth substance abuse. A small town in UK faced a rising substance use among teenagers, prompting concerns from parents and local authorities. Now, in response, a coalition of schools, parents, and charities launched a youth leadership program. This was designed to provide alternative activities and education on the dangers of substance use through mentorship initiatives, extracurricular activities, and peer support groups. The program provided at risk individuals with healthier outlets for their energy and emotion. Now, within an year, substance use rate among teenagers in the town had dropped significantly. This success story illustrates how a community driven approach can lead to meaningful long term changes. Rehabilitation and reintegration from incarceration to advocacy. A former drug user who had served time in prison for substance related offenses turned his life around after participating in a rehabilitation and skills development program. Through therapy and vocation training, he not only overcame his addiction but also found a passion for helping others in similar situations. Now, a certified addiction counselor, he works with the rehabilitation centers across the UK, advocating for the advocating for harm reduction policies and second chances. His journey proves that with the right support, individuals can break the cycle of substance use and make valuable contribution to the society. Parental support. A single mother in London struggled with prescription drug dependency following a series of personal hardships. Her teenage daughter, determined to help, reached out to the family counseling services that specialized in addiction support. Through a combination of family therapy, medical intervention, and lifestyle changes, the mother was able to regain the control of her life. Their story underscores the importance of family involvement, recovery, and how unconditional support can make a significant difference in the life of a person. The impact of workplace support. Now, a young professional battling substance addiction feared losing his job due to his struggles. However, instead of termination, his employer provided access to counseling services and flexible working engagement to support his rehabilitation. And with time, therapy, and workplace support, he overcame the addiction and went on to become a mental health advocate within his company. His experiences highlights the role of workplace in fostering supportive environment for individuals struggling with addiction. Now, what's the conclusion of all this discussion? These success stories remind us that recovery is possible. With the right support system in place, individuals can overcome substance use and rebuild their lives, whether it's through mentorship, therapy, community initiatives, or family support. Even small step toward recovery counts. By continuing to share and celebrate these inspiring journeys, we can challenge stigma and promote culture of compassion and resilience. All in all, what I have to say is that this is how you can help these individuals. Thank you for joining for today's webinar on coping skills for high-risk groups. We have explored strategies to identify and support those at risk, foster resilience, and encourage positive behaviors through community involvement. If you or someone you know is struggling, remember that help is available. Visit the Awakening Rehab or reach out to our team for guidance. Together, we build a future where every individual feels supported and empowered. Call to action. Before you go, consider signing up for our next webinar on and explore our resource. Thank you for being part of the important conversation. Before you go, consider signing up for our next webinar, and which is again on topics like these. So thank you for being part of this important conversation. The key takeaways for participants in this webinar: high risk groups include youth, trauma survivors, and marginalized communities. Tailored strategies like mindfulness, art therapy, and trauma informed care can help manage stress and trauma. Mentorship and community involvement promotes positive behaviors and build resilience. Success stories highlight the power of recovery and inspire hope in the individuals.